of all, I would welcome Professor Goel and Professor Sanjay Goel from State University of New York at Albany. And I would express my heartfelt gratitude for kindly agreeing to my request and making it convenient of his very busy schedule. So I would begin with there is too much to speak about Professor Goel. He's very well known in the area of security and internet information systems, but I would make my introduction brief so that we can get most of the time of Professor Goel. So Professor Sanjay Goyal is the program director for the MS program in the digital forensics and cyber security at State University of New York at Albany. And Professor Goyal is a professor and chair of the information security and digital forensics department in the School of Business. He also is the director of the Center for Forensics Analytics Complexity, Energy Transportation and Security. Dr. Goyal received his PhD from Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute and has worked at General Electric Global Research prior to starting at University of Albany. His research interests include information security, cyber warfare, complex systems, security behavior, and cyber physical systems. He has been bestowed upon with several awards, including Promising Inventors Award, SUNY Chancellor's Award, President's Award for Excellence in Teaching, Excellence in Research Award, State University of New York Chancellor's Award, and State University of New York President's Award for Excellence in Service, and also Graduate Student Organization Award for Faculty Mentoring. He was also named as an AT&T Industrial Ecology Faculty Fellow. And besides this, Professor Goel has received over $8 million of research funding from well-known organizations in the United States and across the world, including AT&T US Department of Commerce, IARPA, AT&T Foundation, James S. McDonald Foundation, and Blackstone Foundation. So we are very fortunate to have an association with one of the top universities of State University of New York and Professor Sanjay Goel, who is a very accomplished academic. So I would request Professor Goel to give a perspective now of the program to our prospective students and also guide them and us about the program. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Please.
Right. Thanks, Manish. I mean, that was a long introduction. I thought you were going to go short. But,
No. It is as short as possible I could make.
So good evening to all of you guys, and I hope you are doing well. And so I hope the weather is nice in India right now, because right now we're in a big snowstorm here. And if I look out the window, there is just snow everywhere.
Yeah, it's very beautiful here, weather actually.
Right. So my goal today is really to talk to you a little bit about what the trends for the future are, and where the education field is going and where the workforce is going for the future, so that you guys train yourself. It is not only about getting any education right now. You have to be very specific and precise about what you want to learn and how you want to shape your career. And so first thing you need to see, where are the trends for the future? And so you will quickly realize that we are wedded to technology, right? So if you look at what's going on in the world, there are three technologies that are really shaping the future of the economy. One of them is Internet of Things, right? If you look at the old internet, it was just an information system where you could communicate, you could transfer information, but that has changed. Today, the internet of tomorrow is not only going to be able to communicate, but it also feel and sense. So that's where millions and millions of connected devices will come onto the internet. So the internet is transforming itself. And so if you look at everywhere from industrial control devices to your Fitbits to your heart monitors, everything is going to get onto the network. The second thing that's going to drive the economy forward is basically artificial intelligence, right? And robotics. So both of these are really growing fields. If you look at what's already happening, a lot of the things which people used to do are being replaced by machines and robots, right? So for instance, a lot of the places, universities are using AI systems for deciding who gets admission and who does not, rather than people doing it. And if you look at what else is happening, they are developing systems which will automatically answer questions. They're social bots now, bots which are responding to people who have questions about the products and whatnot on online sites. Not only is there in cyber warfare, we are now developing killer robots, which will basically work as soldiers, and they'll be a lot more efficient and effective at fighting wars than human soldiers can with, much lower influence. The third technology that's shaping the world today is nanosciences. For the first time in the history of science, we have been able to operate at subcellular level, which means we can not only operate cellular level, we can go to the nucleus and make fundamental changes through nanoparticles into the cell structure and the cell metabolism. And that will usher in a new set of disease control, things like which we thought were incurable, like in autoimmune diseases, like cancer, like diabetes. So a lot of these things which were controlled through the metabolic processes are within reach through nanosciences. So one thing as students you need to realize now that as you go forward towards your careers, you need to say where the trends are in terms of the technology and align yourself with those technology trends. There is no point working in obsolete areas and obsolete technologies. The second thing you need to realize now is that COVID has fundamentally changed this world. How did it change the world? So all of the changes that we were expecting due to technology to happen over the next decade or 2 decades, they got accelerated, catalyzed to happen in just 1 year. There's remote workforce, education, everybody buying things online. So all that has happened in just 1 year. And when we come back to normal, some of the things will come back, but a lot of the things are going to stay online. And so one fact which emerges from this is in the future, a lot of the workforce is going to be globally distributed. We will have the best people around the world working on problems, no matter where they are, because proximity is no longer a necessity, and COVID has already showed us. The first 6 months of COVID were bad, where people were struggling to basically rediscover work and how they're going to work. But 1 year down the road, people are much happier working remotely. The collaborations are going on, and people are equally efficient and effective. So, that shows human resilience and how they can adapt to changing circumstances. So you need to get ready for a global workforce. And India stands at a very strategic advantage point, because first of all, it has a large workforce, which is very talented, very hardworking, and it is English speaking. So that makes it basically the cradle for getting a lot of the intellectual work done. So you need to get ready for that. And the second thing you need to realize is that the dynamics in the world is changing. The US-China conflict is going to keep increasing over time because of the strategic influences both of them are seeking. They're both competing for superiority. And when China-US conflict grows, where does US land? In India. So a lot of the work of the future from the US is going to come to India through India because of the strategic conflict the US has with China. So you need to take this backdrop as you're figuring out your future. So it seems that all of you are interested in the MBA program. And I think MBA is a great degree to have after you have a solid undergraduate degree. Why? Because it teaches you life and business skills. It basically helps you articulate better, be able to position yourself in the workforce better. But just having a plain MBA today is probably not sufficient. You need to be able to distinguish yourself from millions of other people who are getting MBAs every year. And how do you distinguish yourself? By getting a specialized degree. And that's one of the reasons we were attracted to working with IIT Jodhpur, because they had this vision of creating these collaborative programs where not only are you going to get your MBA from the university, you are also going to be able to specialize in a unique area, for instance, in data analytics or in terms of security and forensics, right? And so I think the future really is not only getting the business skills, but also being able to distinguish yourself in a specialized field. Because if you look at technologies, it's getting more and more difficult and more sophisticated. Knowing one area deeply will position you much better in the marketplace than it would just having a plain vanilla degree at this point. So in this backdrop, we have created this program at the University at Albany for two reasons. We created a one-year program. Typical master's programs in technology fields are two-year programs. The reason we did that was because people don't have time to spend 2 years on a technology program. They want to get on with their lives. And the second, we want students to be able to spread their education over their lifetime. If you look at your lifetime right now, you will be changing your career 3 or 4 times. That is how fast the technology is changing. You will need to be constantly learning and relearning things because the world is going to be changing around you at a much faster pace. About 20 years ago, people started in a job and they spent their whole life in that job, retiring from their job. Those days are gone. Don't expect to do that. What you need to expect is to get a good start from your education. And once you have that good start, you basically have to constantly keep improving yourself, keep learning if you want to stay ahead of the game. Otherwise, you'll be obsolete in 5 years, maybe 10 years because of the changes in technology. So what we have done at UAlbany is, we have specialization in security and forensics. We are one of the first universities to adopt security and forensics, again, because we saw the vision of the future. If you look at the technology changes, artificial intelligence, right? If you look at Internet of Things, if you look at cyber warfare, all of these are intricately dependent on information security and forensics. So let's take a smart driving car, right? It's a self-driving car. It goes on the road, it has an accident, it kills somebody. Who's responsible for that? The person who owns the car, the person who sold the car, the person who manufactured the car, or people who build the infrastructure around the car? The answers to that are going to come from solely security and forensics. So security is really at the heart of this. Let's take another example. Let's take a handheld device, right? A wearable device. Today, they are developing handheld devices which are able to monitor all your physical parameters. And tomorrow, they're able to predict a heart attack before it happens based on all the analytics that they're performing on your vital signs, right? So you can check into a hospital before a heart attack happens. So just imagine these kind of potent devices, if people were to hack into them, what's going to happen? They can kill somebody in an instant, right? They're developing a pancreas which will release dosed insulin based on the amount of sugar in your body, which will probably work better than your natural pancreas. What if somebody were to break into that and release a huge dose of insulin, killing the person instantly? So security is becoming a key paradigm for the future of technology for a variety of reasons. And so that's one area which you need to look at. And that's something which I'm going to talk about, for which we have developed a program. So let me see if I can share my screen and talk to you a little bit about the program. Okay. Are you guys able to see this?
Yes, Professor.
Okay. All right, I'm going to go right to the beginning. All right, so first of all, a little bit about the place where we are. I told you, right? It's right now snowing, and but it's a beautiful place. So our university, the University at Albany, State University of New York, is located in the capital of New York, Albany. And this is a beautiful place. It's got two rivers which confluence here, the Mohawk and the Hudson River, come right in the middle, and they combine together, go all the way down to New York City. We have about 13,500 undergraduate students, about 4,000 graduate students. It's a research-run university, and over 150 graduate programs, including the MS, MA, and PhD. It's got 9 schools and colleges, and it's got an emphasis on applied learning. And more importantly, if you look at the School of Business, that's built in a culture of excellence. If you look at some of our alumni, they are basically partners and CIOs and CEOs of some of the top firms, including things like Goldman Sachs and whatnot, right? We are also one of the first universities or first schools to recognize the importance of technology in business. And we started programs like human resources, information systems, information technology management, right? The second thing is that we are dual AACSB accredited, and we have continuously maintained this accreditation for over maybe 30 years. And like I said, we have an alumni network, over 200 currently serving as presidents or in the C-suite. So we have top-looking alumni. And we are the first business school to have a BS in digital forensics. And we have been designated as a Center of Excellence by NSA, which is the intelligence agency of the United States. And not only that, we have one of the excellent research programs, and we have been designated as a Center of Excellence in cybersecurity research. So we have really delved very deep into the field of security, along with a lot of other things. And we have been reported in Financial Times, one of the most innovative schools, which has started an MBA specialization in cybersecurity, covering both managing risks and analyzing security incidents. So we are one of the leading programs in this area. And we are also a very international university with about 5,000 students from around the world. And our average class size is under 35, which means a lot of hands-on learning, intimate learning, one-to-one learning, right? And we are among the top 5% in the best of value in the US for international students in terms of the price versus performance, right? Our international admissions requirement are the TOEFL 79, IELTS 6, ELS 112, and the GPA of 3.25 and above. But we have a special arrangement with IIT Jodhpur that we will accept students from here if they are recommended by IIT Jodhpur. And we have an international faculty. We have 50 faculty members across 6 departments, and which are full-time, and 50 we have industry professionals who work with us and give their specialized knowledge to us. And we have received more excellence in teaching award than any faculty in the whole university. So we have excellence there. So let me talk to you a little bit about our collaboration, right? So first of all, I think going forward, just in a career perspective, you need to be able to learn from different places, different countries, not only because of the academics you learn, because of cultural right? And so you will gain a lot of knowledge, not only by working, but also by meeting other people and building your network connections, given that we have a future of the global workforce. The second important thing that you need to realize is that the program that we have at the university gives you a 3-year work visa right off the bat as soon as you're finished. So it allows you for 3 years to work. And if you are good, within 3 years, you should land a good job in the university or around the university in a lot of the firms that we have. The next key point that I want to emphasize is that we have 100% placement of all of our graduates, whether they're international or they're national. And for the field itself. So, what is digital forensics? A lot of people are still wondering what digital forensics is. It's a field of discovery, right? If you look at what happened in the past, security for people meant that they basically had a wall around their network so that nobody can penetrate. But given the advances in hacking techniques and whatnot, all security can be breached. So what digital forensics does, it takes security to the next level. And not only creating a wall on the perimeter, but also by giving introspection within the network, within the information systems, right? Information systems today are so complex that people have no visibility in their own systems. They don't know who's coming in, who's leaving, what's happening. So digital forensics brings this visibility into the networks. So where do people work? The people who gain experience in security analytics and digital forensics, they work in intelligence agencies, they work in security as consultants, as private sector, in law enforcement, in gathering in evidence and analyzing evidence. So there are many places they work. and they're in high demand. So about our digital forensics Master of Science. So we are accredited by NSA, our as a National Center of Academic Excellence in Cyber Defense Education. We have a high placement rate, up to 90%, with salaries up to $145,000. And we have over 250,000 open positions in the United States itself. And we place our students in top firms, including EY, PwC, KPMG, Deloitte, GE, IBM, Cisco, FireEye, Mandiant, you name it. So we run a cyber job fair where we have more firms coming to recruit our students than we have students to give. And so, we are one of the top schools in regional defense competitions. And we have a strong research-oriented faculty, like I said, that basically the faculty have research opportunities, and we are NSA accredited as a center of excellence, right? So this is a one-year program, and we have 3 tracks in the program: the digital forensics, cybersecurity, and cyber operations. And for the top students, we have up to $5,000 in scholarship money for students coming, especially for IIT Jodhpur, because of our relationship with them. So the first track that we have is our digital forensics track, which is focused on law enforcement. They basically learn different forensics techniques to gather data from mobile devices, from images, and from computer memories, and from Internet of Things, from IoT systems, from cloud, and from everywhere if you possibly can, including open source intelligence. So this is a field very focused on law enforcement. The second field is our cybersecurity track, which is by far the most popular and has the most demand. It prepares students in cyber incident investigation with a strong component of security data analysis, where people learn how to gather data, look at data, and be able to analyze the data to identify if there are security breaches in the organization and how do you respond to security breaches, right? We expect students to come in with some prior background in terms of, knowing some technology. And if they don't, then we run a boot camp over the summer to help them catch up. Our third track is on cyber operations. Now, this is purely an intelligence track where we teach offensive cybersecurity. How do you go behind the enemy lines? For instance, US intelligence agencies are constantly probing other networks in other countries. And students learn how to actively identify network surveillance, advanced persistent threats, and exploit adversary vulnerabilities. So it really is the sharp end of cybersecurity, where we're basically, hacking into other national networks. So I don't know how many people are interested in the intelligence agencies, but this is where you would do that. The only challenge here would be that if you are training to be in intelligence agencies, the US intelligence agencies only hire US nationals. But if there are chances for you to go into the Indian national intelligence, this is a fantastic field to be in right now. So these are our main tracks, right? So I think one of the things which I just want to reiterate here is that, hey, look, in this changing world, you have to think differently. And you need to be able to embrace things which you're not familiar with. So if you only go with the things that you're familiar with, all you're going to get is basically what everybody else is seeking as well. So it is good to explore new areas. Like I'm a mechanical engineer from IIT Delhi. I went in and did some computer science background in cybersecurity. It was a completely new field at that time, and now I'm one of the leading experts. So don't be afraid of going into a new area to challenge yourself to learn something new, something different. Don't always go on a tried and tested path. It's always a good idea to be able to explore and learn something new and something different. And a second parting thought I would have for you is that you have to believe in yourself. Don't second guess yourself. You make a decision, go with it, whatever you want to do. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody else would. And so I think the third thing which I want to bring with you is that life is about working hard. Don't expect that you're going to work hard now and then you can relax the rest of your life. In the current day and age, you need to be working hard the rest of your life to be able to succeed. So So be prepared to be working hard. And the other thing is, cultural immersion is equally important as learning. It's not all about, making the most money. It's also about learning the world and making yourself whole. So trying to get an education in a different country, and I'm not only advocating for our program at U-Albany, but any different program in a different country will open your eyes and mind so much that it will transform you for the rest of your life. So that's an important element of your life that you need to also understand and be able to explore different things and new things. And apart from that, I think the program that we are offering is a fantastic program. It's one of the best programs and the best value for money that you can have. But you need to have an interest in the field, so to be able to flourish and to be able to grow in the field. And if you have an interest in the field, this is probably one of the best programs you can get into. But again, irrespective of this, you need to start exploring your options beyond just getting an MBA degree and beyond just staying in the United States to try and explore something in a different way.
Sorry to interrupt, Professor Goel. We are seeing slide 14. Are you referring to? I think you are referring to some other slide.
Oh yes. So let me go ahead and stop my share. So how do I turn off my slide stop sharing? Okay. So I'm talking in general now. So, I want going beyond the slides. I have a lot of slides with Karen material, but I would rather talk to the students one-on-one at this point. So if you have any questions about the program, about the future of where you need to be, any doubts, this is the time to ask. I'm available by email as well, but feel free to ask any questions you have.
Hello, sir. My name is Anurag.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I understand the appeal and importance of cybersecurity, but how exactly does an MBA and a degree in cybersecurity gel in, like in terms of career opportunities and everything?
So what your MBA does, it basically teaches you life skills and business skills, right? But you don't get any specific technical skills. So what this cybersecurity degree does, it's a 1-year complete MS program. It basically trains you in a specialized field of security. And typically, a lot of our students were being hired by the big accounting firms, right? Like PwC and EY and whatnot. But they were demanding more technical skills. And security is probably the biggest technical area right now. So it's basically your MBA skills combined with the technical area. So you need to have a domain knowledge in which you can apply your business skills. So don't expect that as soon as you get an MBA, you're going to manage something. You don't manage anything for about 10, 15, 20 years of your life. You have to work in some field. Either you're doing financial analysis or you're doing, in this case, security analysis. So you need to have some discipline in the field which you're going to be working in. Because the jobs are already saturated in a lot of the financial analysis field, for instance, in the Wall Street, right? So a lot of the jobs are in the area of security, number one, data analytics, number two. So having a specialization in one of these fields, it just gives you a greater job opportunity right now. Okay, so one other thing which I would also suggest is don't be shy. Learn to interact, be bold. No question is a bad question. If you're going to hide behind a wall, it's not going to help your career. So feel free to ask questions. Don't be afraid.
So yeah, so I think it's an opportunity to have Professor Goel with us. Like if you are, it is difficult to imagine so much time from Professor Goel had we don't have this kind of association with State University of New York. So you can make the most out of this. You can ask anything about the university, about the life at Albany, about the career prospects which Professor Goel has already taken us through, and the great importance of this course. And also you can seek his advice because he's a very senior academician, very accomplished person. So you can make the most out of this session. It's an opportunity to you.
Hello, sir. This is me again. Following up on what you said, there will be people from different backgrounds in your particular MS digital forensics degree. So
Right.
being from an MBA background, having an MBA degree, does that help me in securing a career in? Does that give me an edge?
Yes, absolutely. So what's happening is in the past, there were people who could understand technology, but they couldn't communicate, they couldn't talk, they couldn't present, right? And there are people with an MBA degree who had all those skills, but they were not able to do anything technical or useful for some of these firms. So combining these two, it gives you the best of both worlds. You have a deep skill, which is in high demand, which gives you a job. Plus, you have a communication ability, which allows you to be able to interact with people and become good employees. Look, a lot of the job is not only about doing technical work. It's also about engaging with clients, right? Writing proposals, right? Selling your product and services. So each and every person, no matter how good an engineer you are, we are all selling ourselves every moment. As a student, you're selling yourself to professors. As an employee, you're selling yourself to both your managers and to your clients. So getting these basic MBA skills helps you sell yourselves better to your clients and helps you progress faster as well. So I think combining both of them is a great idea.
Hello, sir. I wanted to inquire if we are also being offered the MSc program in entrepreneurship um, as a dual degree with IIT Jodhpur. Is that true? Or only these three tracks that you mentioned, are these the only options that we'll have?
Yeah, so I
Makes
think, that MSc in entrepreneurship is under consideration, but this year, it may come, but it is not sure so far. So you can ask about the MS in digital forensics from Professor Goel. Professor Goel is the director for MS degree and BS degree at the University of New York at Albany.
Okay, sir. All right. Thank you.
Okay. So how many of you really are interested in studying in the United States, or are you guys planning to stay in India? How many of you really want to step out of India? I mean, question you need to ask yourself. See, when I went from IIT Delhi, all I had was $500 in my pocket and a suitcase which was half filled with books and half with some food which my mom prepared for me. So it was an adventure. So find your own adventure, right? You get one life to live. It's not enough just to follow a defined path to get through it. Have an adventure. Go find yourself and see what you're made of, right? What if you don't succeed? So what? At least you would have tried it and experienced it. So life is not about taking the safe path. Life is about having an adventure, doing something different, doing something challenging, believing in yourself. Right? I mean, I'm a living example. Right now, I'm one of the top faculty at this State University of New York in Albany. I didn't want to become a professor. When I was growing up, there are three things I did not want to do. One is work with computers. Second, do a PhD. And third, go to the US. I had a great life in India. We are very well to do and whatnot. I didn't want to do any of these things. So I failed in all three of them, right? I worked with computers all the time, right? I did my PhD. And third, I'm sitting in the US. But life changes over time. You have an adventure, you find different things, you start loving them, and they'll change. So don't go with the beaten path, right? Follow your heart. Do something different. Challenge yourself. That is the call of the day. You have one life to live. If you don't challenge yourself now, when will you do it? This time when you are young, you can take risks. Right? You can't do that about 10 years, 15 years from now when you have responsibilities. So find your adventure. It doesn't have to be in Albany. It doesn't even have to be doing an MS. But don't be static and stoic and wait and trying to find out something good to happen to you. You have to make life happen for yourself. Life doesn't happen on its own. I mean, that's my genuine advice to you. So, be brave, do something different, change the world. This is what you guys are made of. Find how you can change the world, how you can make this world a better place, and how you can make a future different for people who come after you guys. That's what life is about. And you get to live it once, live it to the fullest. Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, so
This is
Professor
Shivang.
Goel, okay. Yes, Shivang, carry on.
So actually, as I'm an electrical engineer, so I want to ask what we can do now that can be beneficial when we come there for a course. Like, what are some basic things that we can learn now that can be more beneficial when we join the course? Let
Right, right. I think so. The course has a lot of analytics, right? So
Yes,
the
sir.
only the thing that you can help yourself with is if you learn more analytics. And the second thing that can help you, two or three things that are important in security today. One is a good
Okay.
networking background. Second is learning about analytics, right? The more analytics skills you have, the better off you will be. And third, being able to understand the basics of security. So these things are going to help you. If you can do that, that'll be good. Otherwise, you really don't need anything specific. If you're an electrical engineering background, then you have enough skill set to be able to get through this program. And it's a
Thank you.
competitive program. We have some of the top students come in, but I have absolutely no doubt that students coming from India, IIT Jodhpur, will be able to keep up and be among the best there.
Thank you, sir.
Professor Goel, there is a question in the chat like if there is any prerequisite for going for this degree.
So for the cybersecurity track, we don't have a specific prerequisite because whatever people don't have, we will have boot camps in the summer so that they can on their self-pace they're able to catch up with everything.
Okay.
But if you're going towards let's say cyber operations degree, the intelligence degree, I think there you need to have a very strong background because the technology level escalates tenfold as soon as you go in there. You're doing penetration testing, you're breaking into networks. So we expect in that case that you have a deeper knowledge of the field. But for the cybersecurity track, we don't have a prerequisite, and we have suggestions on the things that you need to know, and we offer some summer planning courses that you can take at your own self-pace and be able to come up to speed. And plus, there is a lot of support during the program. We have faculty helping and TAs helping students to understand things if they lack some background.
That's very good, wonderful, Professor Goel, and that is nice for our students. And also, there is another question like, will this degree would be equivalent to a
I think you cut off, Manish. Hello? So while Manish is coming back, there's a question in the chat. What is the scope for a non-engineer? I think it's even more important for a non-engineer to do this MS because you probably lack the technical skills. Like I said before, we are wedded to technology of the future. So if you have a technical skill to go with your non-technical skills, I think you'll be much better off in terms of your future career prospects. So students who are non-engineers who don't have a technical degree can absolutely benefit immensely from doing this MS. And so we have created this program right at the verge of technology and management so that students who don't have a strong technical background are able to work through the program. And that's why this track is very popular. It allows a lot of non-technical people, non-engineers, to go through this. Okay. Any other questions? What's a day look like for somebody who's working in cybersecurity management? Well, depending on what you're doing, if you're an intelligence agent, then what you do is go in the morning and find out who you're going to hack into today. And by the end of the day, you break in. The second thing you do is find out who has hacked into you. So that's what an intelligence agency will do. If you're a cybersecurity professional, there are two ways to do that. One is you're working for a firm, protecting the firm. In that case, you're basically, monitoring logs and whatnot, figuring out, what's going on. If you find an anomaly, you go look at the anomaly. If there's an incident, we respond to that incident and figure out, what has been breached, how much has been breached, right? And you have to sit and write reports, what happened. And if you're working as a consultant, let's say for PwC and whatnot, there you basically do a lot of risk analysis. You go into a firm, understand what the profile is, identify what the risk points are, and tell them how they can remediate it, identify the right controls. So I think that's how it is. And if you're a law enforcement officer, then you get a case, and then you keep investigating the case. You collect evidence, and then they analyze it, try to identify, the timeline, the track of when things happened. Okay, so Prashant Kumar has a question. In what context this degree is different from a two-year MS degree? So a two-year MS degree will typically teach you a lot of information slowly. What we have done is we have created a high-intensity program where you are learning a lot within 1 year, and we're assuming some of the background information that you already have or knowledge that you have. And so for people who lack some of this knowledge, we have materials over the break where they can basically brush up on these things and then catch up. So, we have taken out a lot of the fluff in the program. It's a deep program. You go in, you learn the skill set, and you move on. So there's no fluff in the program. It's a very direct focused program. That's why it's a 1 year program. So the next question is from Krishna Vasant Thakur. Do we need to have the GRE TOEFL score for this course? So typically you do, but for this year, because of the pandemic, we have waived the GRE and TOEFL for this program. So for this year, you don't need to do that. I think in the future, we may need to. And also we may have some relationship with IIT Jodhpur. Once we see the students and evaluate the students, that if the students are good and they're doing well, then we may waive the GRE for the future batches of students coming from IIT Jodhpur. The whole idea for having these requirements of GRE and TOEFL is to filter the students so that they don't fail in the program, because we don't want people to come into the program and not be able to succeed. Our goal is not to really push people out, but to make sure that they succeed not only in the program, but in their lives. So we have a strong placement emphasis in the program. We try to help each and every student get a job. So the question from Shreyas is, after such a high investment, how much one is able to earn after investing such a huge amount? Well, so the answer to that is our top salary last year was $145,000, and the lowest salary was about $70,000. I don't know exactly. So I think that's what you can expect to earn in the United States for the first 3 years for which you have the visa. And beyond that, it's really up to you. So I think you more than wipe out all of your investment in 1 year after you graduate. Okay, any other question? So a question from Khyati is, what are the evaluation parameters for being eligible for the degree? So the evaluation parameters are basically you need letters of recommendation, right? You need to have a decent GPA. You need to have a good essay. Basically you need to be able to demonstrate what you are doing. The reason we look at the essay is, some people get into degrees not really understanding what it will entail. So, and apart from that, typically it's GRE and TOEFL, but in this year we are waiving that. So it's basically recommendations and your essay and your GPA in your school would be the evaluation criteria. Okay, rough estimate of the number of seats for dual degree program. We don't really have a limit on the number of students we will take, So we have capacity and we keep expanding capacity based on that. So, we were expecting 20 students in the first year. We got 35 students. So now we have expanded capacity to about 60. So, as we get more and more students, we will keep expanding the capacity. So will the international degree awarded to the dual degree student be considered a 2-year equivalent MS, or will it be able to pursue higher studies with that degree in both India and abroad? So that 1-year MS will make you eligible for a PhD program after this. You will have a 2-year MBA program degree from IIT Jodhpur, and you have a 1-year MS degree from SUNY-Albany. And that will basically allow you to do a PhD anywhere you want. So fees, loans, and TA or RA-ship. So I think we had already discussed the fees. So what were the fees that we discussed last time, Manish?
You said that it was 20,000 US dollars, and plus
Okay.
5,000 US dollars of scholarship to all the students.
Okay, perfect. So I think that's what we had said. Uh,
And also, I would add that it discounted. So the State University of New York and it has been kind to have to give some discounts to our students as a part of dual degree.
right, right. And for some of the enterprising students, you may be able to find jobs and on campus working on different things and support yourself that way as well. So I understand that financials are an important consideration for the students coming here, but there are ways to offset your cost. And if you can bear it for 1 year, I think the potential of getting a job, as you know, is very, very high. So a BMS graduate, and I've done my specialization in marketing. So how suitable is the program for a student with no background or basic knowledge about cybersecurity? So I think marketing is kind of hard to get jobs right now. So going into cybersecurity is really going to enhance your career prospects. The question is how feasible it is. If you take some of the intermediate courses over the summer and self-paced learning, then I think you should be fine doing cybersecurity. We have students with humanities background come in, but they have done some remedial work over the break, and they were fine. So I have another one. I have completed my MTech in 2012, and I'm currently working in an iron making manufacturing industry. I do have experience in project of power plant, cement plant, iron industry. This tech MBA can help me in career building, as I have learned from the different meeting conducted by this eminent institution. Moreover, the school is IIT. So if I'm understanding your question, Prateek, yes, I think if you are looking for a career change, this is a fantastic opportunity for a career change by having a program such as this. That's why we keep a short program, because people in their mid-careers, they want to move quickly and get on with their lives. So yes, this can help you shape your career based on all the experience you have in the business anyway, and you will be able to add on to that. Okay, any other questions? We are hitting the last 5 minutes mark, close. Anything else you want me to cover, Manish, before I?
We have 2-3 minutes. So if something is there, we can have a quick question or we can wind up. So, okay, so I think so no question so far.
Okay. So, first, I want to thank you all for coming and talking to me and listening to me. So, and at the start of your career, I want to wish you the best of luck in your future career endeavors. And I just want to repeat more that don't live a predefined life. Find an adventure for yourself. That's what life is about. Okay, take risks, take adventure, and redefine yourself today. I think that's the best recommendation I can give for you guys. Find a new tomorrow, find something completely different which you have not done before. That's what life is about. Okay. I've had my adventure. It's time for you guys to change the world, have your own adventures. Okay. So good luck with everything. It was very nice to meet you all. And any questions, Professor Manish Aggarwal has my information and he can share it with all of you guys. So thank you all very much. And thanks, Manish, for inviting me to talk to your students.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable time and insights.
Right. Okay. All right, guys. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Good luck and have a good night.
Professor Goel. Thanks. It is really nice to have you
Yeah.
and listen to you.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Hello.